Hey everyone, Jonathan from the Land Method, and let's just call it like it is as we're starting this video. If you're here and you're watching this, most likely you probably already watched the videos out there. You understand the potential. You know that land investing can work, but you're still sitting on the sidelines because you don't know exactly what to do first. And you're not alone. That's where a lot of people get stuck. They just keep learning, they keep watching, they keep researching, they keep comparing all these different programs, they're asking questions, they're trying to understand every possible part of the business before they take any action. But the bottom line is you don't need to know everything to get your first land deal moving. You just need to know the right steps. And in this video, I'm going to break down the first 3 steps to getting your first land deal under contract. So the biggest barrier for most new land investors is not lack of intelligence, right? It's out there. People are watching things like this, but rather it's paralysis by analysis. Everything gets overcomplicated in the beginning. They think I need to find the perfect market. And then once I find that market, I need to get that perfect list and make the perfect offer, the perfect script, the perfect CRM. I have to have a perfect funding plan and the perfect exit strategy before I can do anything. You notice I said the word perfect a lot, right? And that's not your fault because so many of the gurus tell you that you need this specific proprietary software in order to have any success in this journey. But guess who owns that software and who's making money off of it, telling you that you need it to be successful? And in reality, that's not how real businesses get started. It's not how most people get started. And also, it's not really even all that advantageous because a lot of what that software does, it's just built in there and it's made to look pretty, but you can get the exact same results for free or very cheap elsewhere. But it doesn't mean that it's just haphazard. You do need a clear sequence. So the first step is picking the right market. The second step is then being able to reach the right sellers inside that market. And then the third one is evaluating the deal and making the right offers to those people. That's the beginning. And so right now, let's walk through these 3 steps clearly. So again, the first one is targeting the right market, choosing the right place to go. And this is where a lot of beginners honestly make their first mistake. They either pick a county randomly, or they pick a county because someone online told them it's good, or they pick it because they live there and they just assume, hey, I live here, it has to be great, right? Or whatever the case is, they just follow down this path that's not necessarily intelligent. It's just kind of guessing. And again, that's not a strategy. A good land market should make sense based on data and demand for that area. So you want to look at things like, are properties actually selling? How long are they sitting on the market? Are there enough comparable sales to understand the value in that area? Is there buyer activity? Is the area growing? Is it stable? Is it a recreational area or one that people actually live in? Is it a transitional area? Is it completely stagnant? Because there are areas like that. Are there properties in the size range that you want to target? Uh, are there sellers who may be motivated in that area? Is the county manageable from a due diligence standpoint? That may seem easy, and you may say, oh no, any county is in. That's not true. Different states give different information, and that also comes down to the county level. Are there too many restrictions that make the properties hard to use? Do you understand the buyer pool for that particular area? This matters because land investing, again, is not just about finding land cheap. I spoke about that last week, a couple days ago, right? Cheap land in dead markets is not a deal. That's the bottom line. I talked about that, right? Cheap land overall, even in good markets, may not be a deal, right? If there's no buyer demand, it's not a deal. If you can't evaluate it, it's not a deal. So the goal is to find a market where you can understand value, you can understand the motivated sellers, you can make reasonable offers to these people, and then you can create enough spread for the deal to make sense to you. So when we teach market selection, we are not looking for just a magic county out there. We're looking for a repeatable way to evaluate every area because a good land investor should be able to look at a market and understand whether there's enough opportunity to justify marketing there. So that is the first step. Don't start by just mailing or reaching out to owners randomly. You got to start by choosing a market where the numbers and the demand make sense. And now we actually do have a great tool for that, and it's not one that we own. And we're not saying that you cannot be successful not using this, but for the price per lead and the list that they provide, they are comparable or even cheaper than many other data providers out there. And we did a crushing land with them, breaking this tool down. And I'll include that in the links in the comments that you can see for yourself if it's a good fit for you. You can do a demo test with them. You can have a conversation with them and all of that to see if it'll help you. It's helped us personally. We use it in our business, myself, Genus, and many of our students use it as well. And we've seen the success rate with it. Other videos that I've done where I've talked about how many leads we're getting that are quality and things like that have come from that. But again, it's up to you. You look at that. I'm not saying you can't be successful without it. We were for a very long time, but it does just make things easier. And again, the link to that crushing land will be in the comments, and then you can decide from there if you want to pursue that further. So once you have the market set up, then the second step is you actually have to reach the sellers in that market, right? The people that own property. So this is where your marketing comes into play. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you're not talking to sellers, you don't have a business. That's the bottom line. A lot of people spend months learning land investing and they never send out one single point of contact to an owner in that area. Not a single letter, not a text, not an email, no offers, nothing, right? They are always trying to get things ready and line everything up perfectly. But real learning honestly doesn't even start until sellers start responding to you. So for beginners, direct mail is still one of the simplest ways to start because it allows you to reach owners directly. I just said that, right? Direct mail. But again, the mail has to match the strategy. Are you sending blind offers? Are you sending initial or neutral letters? Are you using a range on it? Are you asking the sellers to call you? Are you following up? Are you tracking your responses? Are you building a pipeline? One of the biggest mistakes that people make is treating marketing like a single one-time event. They send out a batch of letters, they wait, they get a few calls, they don't know what to do with them, then they decide the business doesn't work. That's not a real marketing system. Your goal is to find owners who may want out of the property. Maybe they inherited the land, maybe they moved away, they bought it for a certain use, doesn't exist anymore, so they have no use for it. Maybe they're tired of paying taxes, maybe they don't know what to do with it, maybe they've tried selling it before, but they had some agent told them it was worth this and they never got anywhere near that. Maybe they had other investors reach out with bad systems and they never closed. Maybe they'd rather have cash than a property that they forget about. So you're not forcing anyone to sell. You're just putting an option in front of owners who may already be looking for a solution. And that's why marketing really matters. And that's why your message matters. If your mail is confusing, then your response suffers. If your pricing is wildly wrong, then your conversations are meaningless. If you don't follow up, then you're losing deals. So the second step is not just sending mail or not just contacting an owner. It's reach the right sellers with the right message and then plan to follow up with them. Then the third step with all this is evaluating the property and begin to make offers on it. This is where beginners either get scared or many get reckless. Some people get a lead and immediately want to buy it because they're so excited. We understand that, right? It's like you get that back and you're like, woohoo, it's working. Others get a lead and they never make an offer because they're afraid of making a mistake. Honestly, neither approach is good. You need a process. Before you purchase a property, you need to understand it. Does it have legal access? Does it have physical access? Where are utilities? Are they at the property? Are they nearby? What's the zoning? What can the property be used for? Is it in a flood zone? Does it have wetlands? What's the topography like? What are the restrictions on the property? Are there any delinquent taxes owed? Are there any title issues on the property? What are similar properties actually selling for? Who's your likely buyer? What makes this property attractive to that likely buyer? What would make the property difficult to sell? And most importantly for you is, what is your exit strategy? Are you buying to resell for cash? Are you buying to owner finance it and create cash flow? Are you planning to double close? Are you looking for somebody to partner with you to do something further? Are you looking to hold it for some reason? Are you trying to subdivide it or entitle it? See, your offer should be based on the property, the market, the seller situation, and what your exit is. It's not just a random percentage. And this is one of the biggest mistakes in the land space. People want a magic formula. Basically, it's like, oh, it's worth this, offer 20%. Oh, it's worth this, offer 30%, offer 40%. But honestly, land is way too varied for that. A 5-acre property that's near growth is not the same as 5 acres in the middle of nowhere. A property with power at the road is not the same as one that has no access to electricity. A recreational property with strong buyer demand is not the same as a property that has no realistic use. So you have to understand what it is that you're buying. And the spread for that, for your profit margins, need to be built in from the beginning. So that means if you're buying at $10,000 and you think it's worth $30,000, that's nice, but you need to know why. Right? You need real comps behind that. You need buyer demand. You need to understand the costs. You need to know how you're going to sell it. And if things do not make sense, then you either need to adjust the offer, or in some cases, you need to pass on the property. See, passing on bad deals is part of being a good land investor. It's not trying to force everything, right? We're not trying to close on every property that we get under contract. The goal is to get the right properties under contract and then make money from those ones. We don't want to be putting extra ones and trying to close on things and losing money because of that. So you do need to know when it's time to pass. So the first three steps are choose the market, reach the sellers, and evaluate and make the offer. Now that sounds simple, but each one of these steps matters. If you choose the wrong market, then good marketing is not going to save you. If you choose a good market, but you don't contact the sellers appropriately, then you're never going to get deals. If you contact sellers, but then you can't evaluate properties, then you're either going to pass on good deals or you're going to buy bad ones. So you need to have all three of these things. They need to work together. And once you understand that, getting started becomes much less overwhelming, right? You don't need to master every advanced strategy on day one. You do not need to know every funding method available to you. You don't need to understand every type of land. You don't need to try to build this giant business immediately. You need to learn how to find a market, how to reach the sellers in that market, and then make intelligent offers to them so that some of those offers actually get accepted. And that is how the first deal starts. So if you want the exact process behind these steps, that is what we built inside the Land Riches Blueprint. We go deeper into market selections, seller outreach, pricing, offer structure, due diligence, funding, closing, selling, and the decisions that you make as a real land investor. So you do not need to piece this together from random videos or outdated advice or one-size-fits-all formulas. The lessons cover exactly what we do and in any market, because market conditions also affect where we market, what we offer, and how we sell, which is a huge reason that right now many are dropping out of land investing. They were so focused on the seller's market that we just recently went through that they don't understand how to adapt in this declining market, which in truth is where the real money in investing is made. So if you're serious about getting your first land deal under contract, then check out the Land Riches Blueprint. The link is in the description. But start with the right steps, build the right foundation, and stop sitting on the sidelines, and you will see results.